We should probably start heading home.
Agreed. Let's pack up.
Futaba seemed fine in the crowd, too. So it looks like she's overcome her last exercise.
Hey, Futaba! We're going home! Stop standing around and help us!
You know, all this time, I thought that it was my fault that my mom died.
Uh-huh.
It's because everyone said that I killed her. Everyone looked at me thinking I was a murderer. I ended up hating this world. That's why I shut myself in and covered my ears. I wished my mom would come back to life. Sometimes I'd wake up and think it was all a dream. But nothing had changed in the world. That's why I'd sleep again. It'd be a repeat of that. I loved my mom. I wanted to become like her. How she'd work late into the night. How she'd wake up early and make me a boxed lunch every day. How she'd do her best to further her research. How she'd scold me for peeking at her notes.
It was cognitive science, wasn't it?
The cognitive world can become distorted through desires. If it becomes distorted, a person begins exhibiting problematic behavior in reality. That cognitive world disappears when you remove its core, and further problematic actions stop.
Isn't that about palaces?
That's the metaverse! She knew about that?
It made no sense back then. But now I understand, after it actually happened to me. All I thought about was my mom. I was trapped in a cognitive labyrinth. I couldn't get out of it. There was nothing I could do by myself.
That's why you asked us to steal your heart? That's a huge jump in logic in so many ways.
At first, I didn't believe the rumors about the Phantom Thieves, that they steal hearts. But I overheard you accidentally. I learned that you were near me.
Overheard? Ah, the bug. So why were you listening in on LeBlanc in the first place?
I had to keep an eye on Sojiro, make sure he was actually working.
Talk about an awful hobby.
You talked about stealing hearts. When I heard that, I was so happy I jumped up and down. I thought, maybe the Phantom Thieves could cure my heart.
You could have just told us from the start.
You might have been wary of me if I asked out of nowhere. And besides, you could have been bad guys. That's why I cautiously got in contact with you. I checked many times to see how you'd react.
Yes. You had us twisted around your little finger.
But Futaba, you didn't talk to anyone besides Boss for a long time, right? You must have needed a lot of courage to contact the Phantom Thieves.
There were two reasons for it. One was Medjed's taunt. The Phantom Thieves were so pitiful it frustrated me. I would have been in trouble if they got disbanded too.
Indeed. You were our only hope.
The other was what I heard through wiretapping LeBlanc. Sojiro was being blamed with lies, like abusing me. He was being threatened to spill everything about my mom.
Talk about making shit up.
It made me sad, and it hurt. I thought, I have to save Sojiro. I gotta do something.
So that's why.
The Phantom Thieves. I didn't think you guys would be taking such risks for me. I didn't think you'd worry about me so much. I'm sorry that I acted like I doubted you guys.
Do you believe in us now?
Yeah, I can tell. You aren't bad guys. That's why I have a request. Let me join your team.
There's nothing to join. You're already one of us.
I'll be honest. Changing people's hearts isn't my goal. I want to learn what happened to my mom. The reason why she was killed.
Killed?
It was written in her notes. Should the self in the cognitive world die, the self in the real world would lose consciousness.
Is this about mental shutdowns?
Then the criminal that Kaneshiro mentioned.
Yes. That could be the case. I don't like pursuing this line of thought. But perhaps your mother's shadow was...
I don't know for sure. Like right before my mom died, she didn't seem right.
In what way?
No matter how much I talked to her, she wouldn't answer back. And she didn't jump into the road, it was more like she collapsed and fell in. That's That's why I thought what was written in the notes was real, and looked into it. I read books, checked theses that were released online. I even snuck into the networks of various research labs to look at their classified data.
That's why you're good at hacking. What kind of brain do you have?
But I didn't figure anything out. My mom's research was nowhere to be found. She was killed by someone, and her research was treated like it never existed. I bet it's them. Those adults in the black suits who read the fake suicide note. I'll never forgive them.
Futaba.
If I stay with you guys, I think I can find out more about that world. Then eventually, it might even lead to those men in black. It's a super personal reason why I want to join you. Is that okay? Or would I just be dead weight?
If anything, you're dependable. Ain't that right, Mona?
Why are you looking at me? Are you trying to say I'm inadequate?
Well, she was more useful than you, as a matter of fact.
Hey, that's inexcusable! This is what our Phantom Thieves are like. But I hope we get along, Futaba.
Thanks.
Let's leave those two be. Why don't we lose no time and decide on Futaba's codename?
What's that?
It's not cool if we called each other by our real names.
Joker, Skull, Mona, Panther, Queen, and I'm Fox.
In Futaba's case, Hacker wouldn't be right, would it?
Mech?
PC?
No.
Why don't we go literal and call her Goggles?
Super lame. You've got no taste, kitty.
In your face.
Do you have any good ideas for Futaba's codename?
I'll curse you. What would you want it to be, Futaba?
Oracle. With my vision, I'll guide you all to victory.
Sounds great!
Futaba will be Oracle.
But man, I never even dreamed that the rumored Phantom Thieves would be so close.
Same goes to you. To think you'd be the daughter of a metaverse researcher. Talk about a mysterious fate. Should we get going then?
Yep, let's go home.